Welcome back, Kenny. So I don't have to do a consent with you, do I?
No.
Okay, cool. So I know that Debbie's your sister, and we did the last interview together. But I wanted to separate them because, I just think you got a lot on your mind. I remember you were talking about the tectonic plates. I know you didn't get to really,
Yeah, let's speak a little bit about.
Yeah, but
I felt about history and different things that I put together to give me a better outlook on reality and the difference between the time, what's changed and what's different, even in the last, decades. Looking at that, like my father's generation, different, how their life was way different than mine. I was an 80s baby, and just hold everyone's hands and respect everybody no matter what their ethnicity is, so on and so forth, and the older generation, they went through a whole lot of different stuff, so they're very adamant, but I've noticed that there's been a lot of breakthroughs as far as seeing the goodness in people and living in this area. There are so many good people in this area. They've been very helpful. And to my surprise, especially, in different areas in the city, you're not going to get that kind of love. You're going to have white collars just walking over people that are dying on the ground and not giving a damn. Whether they're hungry or starving or cold, freezing to death. This is Chicago. Like Oprah says, rough and tumble, right? And I've seen it all. I moved. I lived in Las Vegas for a while, and then I spent 10 years in Los Angeles.
How'd you get to Los Angeles?
Well, my daughter's mom is over there, and we were together for quite some time, about 18 years, and then we had a falling out. She cheated first, and I waited to see, and then she cheated again and again, and I started. And then it was bad. My daughter shouldn't have seen everything that had all the arguments and things. Kids blame themselves typically.
How old is your daughter?
She's 14 years old.
She's 14?
Yeah, she loves me. I call her when I can. Of course, my phone got jacked, so it's hard to.
Does she know that you're on the streets right now?
Yeah, she does. She cries a lot. She has a little dog. His name is Smeagol, and she's a good kid. She took all the best parts of me, and I love her a whole lot. I love you, Amelia. You're really important in my life. So those are the kind of things that keep me focused. Take it one day at a time. I gotta come up, not down. I'm already at rock bottom as far as being homeless and everything. So I had to disconnect, make sure she was in a safe place, and come back to Chicago where I was from to restart, and meet up with family and try to rebuild what I had. I gave it a good shot, but my house burned down and things happened. Lost my job as a security guard. I've been trying to, get these different jobs and stuff. It's definitely painful, to have to sleep in a moldy garage with raccoons eating my cake with possums. And it's sad that I used to have my own life where I could actually shower. I feel a little bit safer. This guy that shot at me 4 times with a 40 cal Glock, he killed some girl in Oak Lawn later, and now he's not around anymore, but he used to drive around in his car and go like this at me. Like, even after he shot at me, almost shot me in the leg. I jumped out of the way, and I think the people were kind of like, damn, they were mad, they had to pay for that window. I know, but it wasn't my fault. And I went through a lot of crazy stuff. I've been robbed, I've been beaten for no particular reason. I've been through a lot of things. I remember this time, this guy, I guess someone had told him a lie that Debbie had broken into a car, and that we were involved, and then. Of course, that didn't happen. When I talked to the police there, said there was no footage and everything that the other man had said was a lie. Well, that guy came with me at Walden because he wanted to kill Debbie. He was trying to get me to bring him to Debbie, and I'm telling him, no, you can't do that. She's not involved. I was trying to defend her, basically, putting myself out there. I got my head split open with a 2x4 with nails in it. I got like a hole. I was digging out a piece of my skull.
That was pretty recent, because that scar is...
Yeah, that happened a couple weeks ago, and I've been having some memory loss and stuff, but I'm getting better. Like I was so afraid I was gonna die, but I had to make sure that I found Debbie. I didn't care if I died, that as long as I had to look for her to make sure she was safe. After I'd taken the beating and I couldn't even move anymore. I was still worried. You know, everyone was telling me to calm down. She's all right. I just remember waking up. The guy had choked me. I stabbed him with a scissor to protect myself. He let go, but he'd already passed me out. I felt whack, like someone slapping you when you're knocked out. Really, I was getting hit in the head with a 2x4 with nails in it. I wake up, there's blood coming out of my face, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm like, help me, you know? And I'm just thinking, well, I didn't do anything, you know, I'm innocent. I didn't even deserve this shit, you know? And then the whole time I even came out to look, here when it happened was to look for Debbie, because I heard somebody was looking to hurt me. And I had to find Debbie, and I had to find her to warn her. And once the guy was saying he wanted to find Debbie, I wasn't gonna let that happen.
Was she okay?
He's been down me. He's gonna put a bullet in your head.
Yeah. She's fine. But it was scary, to say the least. I definitely I was worried, you know. Once I was hurt, that he might still be looking for me.
Oh my mama, keep
With that being like 2 weeks ago, do you like?
I resolved the entire situation with the neighborhood, and the guy apologized. But there's people, like, the whole issue was over. Me and Debbie, the owners had given us permission to stay in a garage for a while because we're homeless. And the old man wanted us out of that garage so he could do his auto mechanic stuff in there so badly that he was willing to have us killed. He was going to illegally do it. So he came up with a lie because he knew someone had been burglarized in the area and blamed us, and lied and said there was footage. And then I ended up taking that beating. And then there was another time a man attacked me. There was a time that I was attacked and robbed for my phone. And there's a time that I got punished by the security guard. Hit me with his SUV and pulled out his 40 Glock on me, chambered it and stuck it in my face and told me he was going to kill me if I came back. So, I've been through quite a bit. And unnecessarily, what did I make? 75 cents to get some food? He didn't have to do that. You know, sometimes people over respond and overreact to what they're doing. You know, it's not. You're gonna hurt some guy who makes 5 times less than you. He wants to fix his life, but he can't. Is that But it almost seems bullyish. So I've seen more good people than bad though. So I don't want to make it negative. I've been through a lot, but the whole thing is that by turning myself over to God and wanting to change my life and believing in God and praying more, that I've overcome these obstacles and seeing that there's a lot more better people and good people than there are bad. And that made a serious impact for me. So I'm still striving to move forward. It's hard without a phone. I lost a lot of my work contacts and bosses that I had where I would do jobs where I could have a consistent money flow to, actually get an apartment and do something. And I have mental illness too. I have post-traumatic stress disorder, depressive symptomology, different bipolar and schizo stuff. But I've used a lot of coping skills to deal with that.
Stop talking about me, Kenny.
I'm talking about me. Right now, she's upset. She's having a bad day for her own personal reasons.
Don't.
But she'll feel better. I'm just gonna let it go for now. All the problems and anger.
Is it hard looking out for Debbie every day?
Yeah, it's difficult because sometimes I just feel like I'm looking out for everybody else that's sharing my blessings, and then turn on me later and change up. But it's okay. My life is up for change in January, and a few years after that, I should be doing quite well. And I've been planning this for 25 years, 25, 27 years. So good things are coming. I'd like to make an impact on Debbie's life and kind of change things around. I'm gonna keep working on that because eventually my status, once I fix my life, is gonna show who I am, and I'll get the respect that's deserved for my family. But until this time, I don't feel so great about myself, to be honest. And people have asked me, do I want to harm myself? And everybody has their thoughts, but lately I've been putting most of my faith into God and just letting it all go. And not watching my back so hard. Just, letting the force guide me. And I'm just hoping for a better year next year. I know good things are coming, and I just have to brace myself and try to make the next best game plan to repair everything. It's been very difficult for me, but I'm still fighting every day.
Mama can't save you.
It took me a long time to work through those things. What happens to you as a kid, you lash out later in life when you're a teenager. It can definitely impact, but it also can help you grow as a person. What you go through, what you've been through.
Now, flick the plow. Look, your mama can't save you now. Flick the plow. When your feet don't touch the ground, look around. Look, your mama can't save you now. Flick the plow. Your mama can't save you now. From the sound boom boom, but they keep you round. If you really wanna make it proud, pick the plow boom boom, but they take 'em down.